If you're wondering what it's like to go through the experience of buying a new home, you're at the right place. I'll be walking you through step by step what's it like to look into a new city like Las Vegas, work with me as your realtor, and get the keys to your brand new home. James came across my YouTube channel and was fascinated watching all my new construction playlists. He decided to make a comment on one of my video titles, and I commented right back, and he was actually blown away because he didn't expect for someone to comment right away. And in that comment, I also mentioned that if he had any further questions, that he was welcomed to call me or text me at my number. So James texted me right away and had several other follow-up questions when it came to the process of buying a new construction home in Las Vegas. So I suggested we connected either on a phone call or on a Zoom call, and he chose to do a Zoom call. So we scheduled a one-on-one buyer's consultation on a Zoom call. Personally, I prefer doing Zoom calls over a phone call so we could really get to know each other and really talk about the different topics that I have for them in store. In my one-on-one buyer's consultation with James, not only am I discovering what he wants in a particular new construction home, and this is talking about the bedroom count, this is talking about if he prefers a single story or a two-story, is a yard important for him, square footage, loft space, anything related to the home I would discover in the home requirement section. And then after that, I talk about lifestyle and what's also important for him. Does he enjoy outdoor recreational activities or water sports? Is he a foodie like me? Does he enjoy going to Spring Mountain in Chinatown? Those are some of the questions I ask in order to identify the lifestyle that is appropriate for this particular buyer, in this case, James. On the Zoom call, I will conduct a buyer's consultation. And the buyer's consultation is a way for me to discover what's important for James, not just about the home, but the lifestyle and his interests. So let's take a look together at my buyer's consultation list. Here are some of the questions I will be asking James. First question would be, James, is this your primary residence, your second home, or an investment? And based on those answers, the questions that I'll be asking are very different. First, I'll ask James about his current living situation. Where does he currently reside? Does he own or does he rent? If he owns, some follow-up questions would be, do you plan to sell your home, and is the sale of your home contingent to the purchase of this new home in Las Vegas? Or are you planning to rent out your current home? Based on those two responses, the timeline and our action plan and the strategy that we talk about is going to be very different. If James needs to sell his current home, and let's say he lives in San Diego, California, then at that time, I will talk about his timeline. How quickly does he want to sell his home in order to be here in Las Vegas? Is there a specific timeline that we need to work on? Let's say he needs to move to Las Vegas as part of his job and his duties. If so, do we have a specific month or date that he needs to be out here in Las Vegas? So those are the questions I'll be asking. And in the event he does need to sell his home in order to buy a new construction home, at that point, I will also ask him if he's already working with a realtor in San Diego. And if not, if I could suggest a qualified listing agent from Sotheby, San Diego that could represent him on the sale of his home. Then we'll move on to the home requirements. I will ask James, are you interested in a tract home or a custom home builder? Are you interested in a single family home or a townhome or a condo? I'll also ask, is there a specific builder that you're most interested in? Perhaps James lived in a particular builder's new construction home before and had a really good experience living in that home and wants to work with that same builder. I would like to know that. Then we dive into the details of the home. Are you interested in a single-story home or a two-story home, or are you even open to a three-story home that we're seeing in some of these new construction communities? How many bedrooms and bathrooms are in your requirements? Maybe you need an additional bedroom for work. And in this case, James works from home, so he needs a dedicated room for his office. Is there a minimum square foot that you're looking for in your home? How many car garages is required? I asked James about the importance of the yard, and he said yes. He actually owns a poodle, and for his poodle, he wants a very nice finished backyard with some green area. Then we touch on the lifestyle elements, such as, do you prefer a guard-gated community, a gated community, or a non-gated community? Do you prefer communities with community amenities like a community pool, a fitness center, parks, basketball court, tennis courts, and even a golf course? Then we talk about the different neighborhoods that are available and if he has a preference on whether he wants to be in a specific master plan community or not. Does he prefer a no HOA home or a HOA home? Does he prefer to be in a master plan community like Summerlin, Inspirata, Southern Highlands, or does he prefer not to be in those master plan communities? Then we talk more about his lifestyle, his hobbies, and his interests. What's important for him? Does he frequently visit Trader Joe's or Whole Foods for shopping, or maybe Costco? Does he like to be 10 minutes away from the airport because he travels a lot? Those are some questions surrounding the lifestyle that would really help me narrow down which neighborhood would be appropriate for what he's looking for. Then we talk about the budget and financing. What's your budget? Do you have a budget in mind? Are you pre-qualified? If not, let's get you connected with one of my local lenders and get you pre-qualified so you understand what your budget is. Then we dive into some of the different finance options when it comes to builders offering incentives. When you choose a specific builder and a community, that particular builder and that community may be offering some incentives if you use their preferred lenders. That preferred lender is usually in-house. So just to give you an example, if we're looking at a Taylor Morrison community, Taylor Morrison will have their own Taylor Morrison funding and mortgage company. So those are the people that we will be talking to when it comes to the pre-approval process. Builders are still offering incentives, and I've seen incentives anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 towards closing costs and towards interest buy down because of the high interest rates that we're currently experiencing. However, I do want to mention that because demand is so high in some of these communities, for example, Inspirata, there is a lottery in order to win a lot for these new construction home sites. In my opinion, builders are going to start scaling down on these incentives because they don't have to give these incentives. The demand is so high and there's so many people on the wait list. So my advice as your buyer's agent, if you're looking for a new construction home right now, is to get yourself qualified, reach out to me, and we could start the one-on-one buyer's consultation process so we could get you locked down with a new construction home with potential incentives before they go away. After the buyer's consultation, this is what I found out about James. James is a single male currently living in San Diego, California. He's currently renting and he's month to month, so he doesn't have to worry about breaking his lease. He works in tech and works from home. So one of the requirements was a minimum of a 3-bedroom so that he could convert one of the bedrooms into an office. He loves having friends over, so he definitely wanted to have an additional bedroom in case his friends wanted to crash over the weekend. He owns a poodle and he loves to go hiking and go outdoor recreation on his free time. He's also a foodie like me, so he shared with me that he likes to go out and check out new restaurants on his free time. His budget is between $500,000 to $600,000. He's definitely interested in the lender financing and finding out what kind of incentives that these builders are offering. He's not specific to any certain size of the home, but he's open to a 2-story as well as a 3rd-story as long as it has a good sized yard for his poodle. James also prefers being in a master plan community so that he knows that there are several parks that he could choose from when considering walks for his poodle. Active communities and listings. After the buyer's consultation, I would put together a detailed recap email of our conversation, as well as share with him active communities that I think would be the best fit based on the requirements I just heard from James. In addition, I want James to be more familiar with the neighborhood and the different areas we talk about. So I also sent him, in an attachment, a neighborhood map of Las Vegas and Henderson, where each neighborhood is labeled, and I absolutely love this map. If you want a copy, comment below map, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. But I'm all about the map and having my clients be more familiar with the different neighborhoods. In addition, because Summerlin West would be a consideration for James, I will also send James a neighborhood map of Summerlin, which is a detailed neighborhood map labeling all the neighborhoods as well as community amenities and parks that you could find in the master plan community of Summerlin. Showing schedule. Prior to James visiting Las Vegas, I will put together a showing schedule that showcases the allotted time that we have together and all the new communities that we will be visiting together. Meeting in the office. I will invite James to the office so that we could go over all the disclosure forms before going out to see the showings. These disclosure forms include the duties owed form and the buyer-broker agreement. James and I will be able to review these documents together, and I'll be able to answer any questions James may have on these documents. Then we will go out, usually take my car to go out to see the different communities together. I call it the discovery tour. Not only are we just headed towards the new communities, on the discovery tour, I will be calling out different things that we see along the way, things that may be important for James, such as the nearest Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Costco, shopping centers like downtown Summerlin. I'll be calling them out to him so that he has an idea of where these different attractions are in relation to the communities and the homes that we're going to go see. Model home tour. Upon arriving to a new construction community, the first thing I will do is register James with that builder. So let's say we're visiting a Woodside community. I will then introduce my new buyer, James, to the new sales consultant at every community. In the case of Woodside, my contact will be Michael. So I will introduce them and then register James so that in the event James wanted to come back on his own to check out the models, Michael would know that he is associated with me and that I will be representing him on this transaction as his buyer's agent. The registration form is very important to me because it establishes a relationship that I will be representing James on his behalf as his buyer's agent when negotiating with the builder. After the model tour, James really likes one of their floor plan. Let's just call it floor plan A. So we then go back to talk to Michael at the sales office to understand if there are any spec homes that are currently being built with that same floor plan, and or if there are new lots available where we could build that specific floor plan A onto these dirt lots. We'll collect all the information from Michael, including any of the lender incentives that they're offering, and then we'll go on to the next community. We'll do this several times, and James and I have visited multiple communities while he was here, and then usually at lunch or on a coffee break, we will regroup. I'll ask James what his feedback is, if there's any new communities that stood out for him, any particular floor plan that he's really in love with and why, and we'll kind of take down notes and collect information at these discoveries. For some buyers, it only takes them one time to visit one model and make a decision. For other buyers, it takes multiple trips and multiple communities in order for them to identify if they could see themselves living in that new construction community in that specific floor plan. For James, he's a straight shooter. He visited this one particular new construction community and he knew exactly that that was the place he wanted to buy. Then we move over to the offer process. But before we could submit an offer, James needs to be pre-qualified by the preferred lender. So I would connect with him to the preferred lender contact, and James will go through this quick online questionnaire to get him pre-approved. This process is very short and quick. It's within 24 hours that James will get pre-qualification from that particular builder's lender. Then we're ready to make an offer. Did you know that you could actually negotiate on the actual price of the new construction home? Just because it's advertised at a certain price, don't feel obligated that you need to pay that price. That's why you hire a professional and knowledgeable and experienced buyer's agent like myself with expertise in new construction that could help you and strategize and put together that offer for you. So in James's case, he had a particular number in mind, a budget in mind that he wanted to stay within. And that particular home and that lot premium combined was a little bit over than the budget. So what I told him was, let's talk about the numbers, see what you're comfortable with, and we will put together an email offer to the builder and break it down. So it's not only just about the purchase price, we may be negotiating on the lot premium, or we may be negotiating on the design credits at the design center. There's so many ways to craft an offer to the builder. So James and I sat down together, we crafted this offer, we submitted via email in writing. The builder took their time, 24 hours later responded with a counter, and the counter was actually really good because that actually fit within James's budget. So James was really excited. He said, Kaori, let's move forward. So then we move forward to the purchase agreement phase. When there's a meeting of the minds with the builder and the buyer, in this case James, we then move forward to the purchase agreement. The purchase agreement is a very lengthy, usually 30 to 50 pages, DocuSign. that myself and James will go over together. If James is still here in person, we will review it together at the office. If he's back in San Diego, then we will review this purchase agreement online on Zoom, where I would share my screen and go over each page by page. There's definitely key areas to look for in a purchase agreement, especially when it comes to the purchase agreement detailed information of the specs of the home and what you're purchasing, as well as the cancellation section. So we go over that in detail, and once James is comfortable, he then signs the DocuSign electronically. Then we're under contract. Congratulations, James. What an exciting time to witness a new construction build under contract. Now, the good news for James is that I am his eyes and ears. I could attend any meetings and appointments on his behalf in the event he is not available to come out from San Diego. The first appointment with the builder when purchasing brand new would be an appointment at the Design Center. Design Center is an appointment where the buyer needs to be with you at the Design Center so you can see, touch, and feel all the different materials when selecting all of your finishes. So we scheduled the Design Center appointment after 2 weeks going under contract. James selected all of his Design Center upgrades. And then from there, the next appointment would be the frame walk. The frame walk happens when the framing of your home is completed. It's a time for you to ask questions with the superintendent, make sure all the framing has been done to the spec of the purchase of your home. Frame walk is also an opportunity for you to make sure that all of your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical are all spec'd out based on your specifications. Unfortunately, James couldn't make it to the frame walk. He had a work conflict. So I said, James, no problem. I will attend on your behalf and videotape the entire frame walk for you. And that's exactly what I did. I videotaped the entire frame walk, took down some of the notes that the superintendent was talking about as far as the different locations when it came to HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. We made sure all the electrical upgrades that James made was in fact in the house. After I sent James the link to the frame walk, and after he had time to review that, we would connect again and talk about it. Maybe he had a specific question regarding the frame walk or specific area. Maybe there was a thing that he missed and he wanted me to clarify. So that's an opportunity for us to go over the frame walk video together and get some clarifications. As we get closer to the finish of the home, at that point, before the new home orientation, I will schedule a third-party home inspection. Third-party home inspection is very, very crucial. I'm sure you've seen some video titles where I talk about this because it's so important to understand and have a professional inspect your home, because there are so many findings that I have seen on the summary report that shocked me, that I could not even see with my own eyes. James was able to attend with me to the third-party inspection, so we were able to call out everything that we saw in an inspection report, and we have forwarded that inspection report to the builder. Our expectation is for the builder to cover as much as possible under the repairs before the new home orientation. New home orientation happens at least a few days before closing. And at that new home orientation is where we get our blue tape, our favorite blue tape, where we could mark off some of the repairs that's needed. In most cases, it's painting and stucco, but in other cases, it may be missing hardware or any other repairs that we notice, especially because we had just had the third-party inspection done. I will also bring a hard copy of the summary report, and if the summary report repairs are not done by that time, we will make sure that we add it to the list for the superintendent. Our expectation is to have all these blue tape items repaired and fixed before the closing day. Signing. Signing could be done remotely with a notary or in person at the title office. Based on James's schedule, he was able to come out and do the signing with me a day before closing here in Las Vegas. But in the event James was unable to come, I would be able to send a notary to James's house and he could sign it there with the professional notary service. James and I will review all of the loan documents together, make sure everything looks good, including all the credits we received for the interest buy down and the closing costs. We will also review all the loan disclosures ahead of time before signing so that James would be comfortable signing in the event he had to sign it remotely by himself. Now it's time for a pop quiz. I want to make sure you have been paying attention to my video. This time it's true or false. The first person to comment the correct answer will get a shout out on my next YouTube Shorts. So let's go. As your buyer's agent, do I recommend you to come out and go to the design center with me in person, true or false? For me, signing day is one of the most exciting days because I get to see my buyer James with me at the title office, signing all of the loan disclosures, signing all of the paperwork, and then after signing, we get to take some photos together in front of the title office. And I have this, actually I have two signs. This is one of them, but this is the welcome home sign, and we get to document this monumental day of signing the paperwork for closing. Closing. Pro tip. If you're signing on closing day, make sure you sign first thing in the morning. That way, the title will have plenty of time to get all the documents together, confirm funding, and then process the recording. On signing day, the title will make sure that they have the funds from the buyer, from James, funds from the lender, in this case from the builder lender, and have all the paperwork necessary to get everything put together to be processed and sent for recording. Now, recording takes about few hours, so if title sends it first thing in the morning, you may be able to get your closing and the copy of the deed and the final statement midday. Now, most of the time, if you were to sign in the morning and fund and go through that process, closing will be towards the end of the day. So just be mindful that it could take a few hours in order for everything to be processed and for the closing to happen. Now, closing is official when you get a copy of the deed. The copy of the deed is a certificate that shows that you are now the owner of that particular property. The property was conveyed from the builder to your name. Also, you will need a copy of your final settlement, and those two documents are very important because those are the two documents you need to bring to the post office in order to get your mail keys. Once recorded, I will call James that we have finally recorded. We will go to the sales office together to get the welcome home package, including the set of keys. For more videos about new construction homes, and if you're looking to buy new anywhere in the world, make sure you check out one of the videos below. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you on the next one.